As every great artist, Poe left a strong legacy behind. His main artistic field was literature, therefore it is the area in which his influence outstands the most. First of all, we're going to speak about Clark Ashton Smith, who, at a very young age, only 11 years old, had already written a few short stories. In these short stories, the influence of the Grimm brothers and Edgar Allan Poe was obvious. His work is characterized by the use of poetic prose and macabre and disturbing atmospheres. These were inspired by Charles Baudelaire and the Symbolist movement. Where the influence of Poe over Smith's work is the most noticeable is in some of the thick tale. Let's read a short fragment from these stories. They rose betimes, in the dark crimson dawn, from their opulent palace beds in which they had slept, for much remained to be done. Everywhere in that forgotten city they went busily to and fro, walking the spales on the people that had died in last year of the pest and had lain unburied. Let's move to the already mentioned Charles Baudelaire. He translated many of Poe's works. They were considered to be a sort of literary brothers because of the similarity of the topics both covered and their poetic principles. Baudelaire's translations helped Poe's work to be spread over France and economically saved the French author. Arthur Conan Doyle was also influenced by Edgar Allan Poe to create Sherlock Holmes. The inspiration came from his fictional detective character C. Auguste Dupin, the first ever in history of its kind. This character was very innovative because he worked by deducting from observable facts. For this reason, they should both be considered the fathers of detective stories. Another interesting fact is that the book The Sphinx of the Ice Realm by Jules Gabriel Byrne is a continuation, a sequel, to Arthur Gordon Pym, a novel written by Poe. Let's read a fragment. But there arose in our pathway a shrouded human figure, very far larger in its proportions than any dweller among men, and the hue of the skin of the figure was of the perfect whiteness of the snow. This is the rare motif that Jules Gabriel Byrne would recover 59 years later to transform it into the central topic of the Sphinx of the Ice Realm. Another author highly influenced by Poe was Howard Phillips Lovecraft. In The Outsider, he claims to portray his own literal but unconscious impression of Poe, who, by his psychological terror, influenced the cosmic horror that Lovecraft would use in his stories. He was considered a big innovator in the terror field. He even created his own mythology, known as Cthulhu mythos. It was based on huge monsters of unknown origin hidden in remote places on Earth, space, and other dimensions. Now, after this list, do you know what your next read will be?